Hi guys, so in this video, I want to break down what I've been doing since about level 20 in Helldivers 2. And we're going to discuss in detail how to be able to play the role that I play in Helldivers 2. Because this game has a crazy loop, sort of play loop in it, and I've been now playing for 100 and what's that 196 hours, and basically I always play as Overwatch, and this is a particular game's playstyle in Helldivers 2, and it is used and it is done with using the spear basically. And I want to go through now and just deep dive into how I play this, because while 200 hours is baby hours compared to what a lot of people do, I have been playing just Overwatch on the larger maps, obviously switching up my style for the smaller, more intense games where you eradicate bugs or you're rescuing essential personnel. However, all other maps on both bots and bugs, I have been playing as this role, and I'm going to now spend the next 15 minutes or so explaining how I do this. And I'm not going to make a script. I'm going to talk to you as a human being. So here we go.
The fate of all humanity's children are in your hands. Do not let them fall.
Send spear.
Direct fire support weapon inbound. Your spear is here.
My spear is here. So of course, guys, like I said, my weapon of choice is the spear, and it is a what's known as a DFSW. It is a direct fire support weapon, and it is basically the clone of a javelin and is notoriously problematic in this game. However, I'm going to show you how to be able to completely eradicate those problems. So as we discuss the Overwatch position, I will be giving you tips on how to be able to use this weapon better. I also have made a video on how to be able to use the spear, so I'll make sure that it is up in this corner so that you can watch that. I'll also make sure that it's at the end of the video so it doesn't disturb our deep dive into this position that I play. So let me just get rid of this. Yep.
Dropping a pin. Stop. 100 meters.
Okay guys, so the thing that separates my gameplay as an Overwatch compared to everybody else is as follows. First and foremost is that I always wear light armor. The light armor allows you to sprint from the rear and allows you to either catch up or even on long runs to overtake your teammates and to start setting up positions. So this is what's about to happen now, is a demonstration of what a position is. So before I kick off, I just want to show you. The first thing that I do is I look for the high ground. So you can see immediately here that we have high ground, okay, which is great for the open countries. It doesn't work so well in places like Malevolent Creek and stuff like that in the jungle. Okay, this is a very difficult position to play when you're playing in the jungle, but when you're out on the plains and the prairies like this, it is great. So the first thing that I'm doing is looking for high ground. Now, you would have seen that already I've laid down a turret, which is also a key part to this position. I do not take any orbital strikes or eagles with me. I only take turrets because the role of this position is to eradicate any patrols or any incoming enemy. Your job is to support those who are attacking. Okay. I'll just quickly get this playing again. So straight away, you'll see that I'm going up onto the high ground. And now I set down
Freya,
turrets.
send machine gun sentry.
Marking
Alright guys, so we're going to do this. I'm going to do this now. This is not cheating, okay? I cannot do these stratagems quick enough to be of any use to my teammates. So I went out and I actually tried to find a way to be able to do this. And what I found was voice attack, and then I made it fun. So I made Freya. If you don't know who Freya is, again, I'll leave the video in the description, okay, so that you can check out Freya. But for now, you will hear an AI talking, and it is the AI that I made with voice attack.
okay, calling down a sentry.
Machine gun sentry on its way.
Marking location. East. Freedom.
Okay, so you can see here immediately that I, as the Overwatch, I am not heading into the position with my teammates, okay? I am looking to find the high ground, okay, and start setting up on the high ground. So let's watch. I've also noticed that there is a penis rock just here, so I'm also heading there.
Forever.
Again, guys, you can see the effectiveness of using sentries continuously. It just clicks up your multiplier here all the time. And while your kills don't matter, what matters is that you're clearing so that your teammates can continue to move towards the objective.
Found something.
It's also your job to
Rare sample
find,
collected.
obviously, this kind of stuff.
Dropping a pin.
Alright, boys, let's
Southwest,
hit that.
100 meters.
So straight away, guys, you can see that I'm running along the high ground while looking out for anything that sort of needs to be attacked. And again, here's a great example. I'm standing on the high ground here. I'm standing on the high ground just here while my squad mates are heading into here. And so what I want to do now is to put sentries up here that'll fire down and then cover the guys as they move in. Okay, let's just get that started again. Freya, send Gatling sentry.
Gatling sentry ready.
Sentry.
So now is a good time to start talking about the spear. So my video will explain this, the other video on the spear, but the spear needs three things. It needs elevation, it needs open ground, and a clear line of sight. And once you've been playing with the spear a lot, you realize very quickly that, like, if you're up a hill placing down a turret, it is the best place for you to be and to stay because you have the high ground. So you can see here I have a turret, which again, because I'm kneeling, I was lucky. I probably would have died there, but my turret turned on me. That's another reason why I tend to always be crouched or prone around my turrets, is that it won't kill me if it does a sudden turn. But you can see here that again, I have distance and I have a clear line of sight. Now, I'm not sure if this is the particular one, but we'll check. Okay, the boys killed it, so we'll continue. So again, you can see as Overwatch, I am up the hill and I am traversing along the hill and looking always for the high ground. This is where I want to be, okay, up here with my spear. There's my head, okay, and I am looking then down here to make sure that the boys are okay. Send autocannon sentry.
Autocannon sentry purchased. Please give Amazon 2-3 days for delivery.
So I automatically find the high ground there, and I'm now stopped again on the high ground. So even though I'm standing in the middle of this opening, I'm still standing on a high point.
Freedom!
So there's always the sort of discussion as to whether using the Dominator as a weapon for Overwatch is the best sort of setup for this. But to be honest, like the only other medium penetration sort of weapon, armor penetration, is the Liberator Penetrator, and it just is too cyclic. It fires too many rounds to be good enough, basically. And really, at a long range, so even then, so when we were firing here and up around here, this is too far for you to be firing. You don't need to. That's why you have turrets. You have turrets to place down that will reach out and kill all this. However, at this point, I thought I may as well get into the fight. Another thing too with the Dominator is that it demands that you use this sight rather than third person shooting constantly. If you want to be accurate, you need to shoot from the sight. So again, Overwatch is not about engaging the enemy at short distance. So the first thing you notice there is when I notice that there is a large bunch of enemies, I turn and I get up a hill. Hey guys, because you can see now, I've moved myself again into a high, sort of elevated position where I can watch over the whole area, and I have a turret that is sitting here, firing down on these enemies that are trying to approach my teammates who are here. So I am creating a blocking position with my turret here, and at the same time, rather than staying with my turret, I'm moving now to a further like depth, so here, to be able to set up something else. Now I can't remember if in this particular part that I actually set up anything. I think I realized that I'm close to this objective, so I push the objective.
Fire in the hole.
Objective critical stratagem available.
Okay guys, so we can see again, immediately I'm going for the rock. I'm going for elevation.
Mag's empty.
Sending in an eagle. Calling in reinforcements.
So there's a perfect example of why sometimes the Dominator can be difficult to control in third person. Again, use the weapon that you're most comfortable with. However, I do recommend that you have something that has medium armor penetration, because lots of times your teammates are not prepared to take on this type of enemy. And on the bot side, so a lot of the chainsaw dudes and the medium armor and the heavy armor, they just don't have that punch to take anything out. So that's why it comes down to you a lot of the time to be able to break the armor or take down larger bots.
Objective critical stratagem no longer available.
Calling in a hell bomb.
So one of the good things about having this spear is that when you're at an elevation like this, you can actually attack things that are completely out of the fight. So it was very quick, but I'm going to show you again as I come around, and I'm going to try and stop it so you can see this. So I swivel here now, and I look at this nest here, and I do a quick scan with the targeting system of my spear. So this works very well there. I missed it, but did you see how I locked onto something there, and I could have fired at it, but I didn't. So normally I would have locked on there, so I don't know what I was thinking at that point, But especially on the bot side, if this is like a factory and you're overlooking a factory, it just makes for such a great opportunity to just fire your weapon at the factory and destroy the factory. And that's one less factory to worry about. So however, I end up going into this objective.
Hell bomb armed. Clear the area.
Calling down objective equipment.
Again, I kind of has broken sort of like the sort of the principles of my this position Overwatch. I have entered a position here. However, my guys were sort of on the position before, and I thought I could jump in here and get this done. So I also broke another rule here.
Machine gun sentry.
So I did break
Machine
another.
gun sentry on it.
Okay, so this is another rule broken, is that this is not your job. So your job is not to carry objective things. Like this is the SSD card or whatever, SSD drive. That's not your job, okay? Your job is to suppress the enemy from elevation. And you can't do that when you're carrying this thing. And this is a perfect example of where things can quickly get out of hand if you are not in the fight. So let's watch this.
Its way.
Mag's empty.
Sorry guys, I went back there so I can catch it. Okay, so right now you have the SSD card in your hand. You're inside of an objective and you're Overwatch. So, you know, I'm Overwatch and I have the SSD card in my hand. I have to do some stuff to be able to access my spear. And then you have a bar titan right on the position. And there's a whole bunch of enemies around that are swarming the position. And at this point, I should actually be further back behind where I am, setting up turrets so that my guys can fall back to my turrets for protection. And then this, I should be destroying with my spear. But instead, I'm carrying in the middle of an objective, I'm carrying like the SSD drive. And this is a massive no-no. And you'll see that I realize this, and then I drop it and then just leave it and allow somebody else to pick it up, because almost everybody is too busy trying to be the person carrying the SSD card like it's some sort of privilege, where it's not. Like, you're a target. Okay, so let's carry on. Let me just get rid of all the things. Okay. So now now I start realizing I've made a mistake, so I drop it. Okay, so there is a sweet spot, like a sweet distance for a perfect shot on a bar titan, and that was it. So it's getting to that point where you're like, if you are somebody who uses the spear often, it's at this point you're like, I'm too close. But if you catch the lock, so if you've noticed, I don't allow the green to just linger. As soon as I know that the sight is going from orange to green, I'm spamming my fire button so that the minute it goes green and allows me to fire, the round is away. Even if you pause for a second, you can miss the lock and the lock can flare again. And if that lock flares, you're going to miss the shot, and then you're not going to be able to do what I just did and hit that sweet spot.
Move.
You will never destroy our way of life! New man!
Thank you.
Guys, if you are somebody who wants to learn more about the spear, don't leave this video right now, because I'm going to show you very soon about some of the really good tricks on how to be able to make sure that you get a lock every time. But I want to make sure that I have the correct like footage up on the screen to explain it to you. So stay here, don't go.
Throwing supply beacon. Heavy. Northeast. 50 meters.
So again, guys, you can see that I'm up on the elevation. I have a clear line of sight, and I'm dominating the area. Freya saying Gatling Sentry.
Gatling sentry
Calling down a
ready.
sentry.
Alright.
I'm just wondering if our teammate was okay.
Alright.
Okay, so here I'm in the front, and immediately, guys, you can see me taking the high ground, and I place down a turret. Send autocannon sentry.
Autocannon sentry purchased. Please give Amazon 2-3 days for delivery.
So one of the most important things to do, guys, as well, is to make sure that you protect your turret when it first lands, because it's going to be vulnerable, because it will not be able to fire for probably the first 2.5 seconds. So make sure that you're defending your turret.
Throwing grenade. Bag's empty.
Layer sample acquired. Sample collected.
So I just want to talk about this as well, like, so your multiplier here. So this isn't a flex, okay? Don't visualize this as a flex. See it more as how helpful you're being to your squad. So if you're getting like multipliers of 3 and then it fades and then it pops straight back up again, and you've got a multiplier of 3 and then it goes up to 11, then it hits 20, then it's hitting 40 and things like that. It just means that you are the effective Overwatch that you're meant to be. So if you're in a battle like this and you can hear your turrets going off and you're not getting multipliers, it means that you've placed your turrets in the wrong place, and you're either ricocheting off rocks or it's just not killing things, okay? This is an indicator that you are playing your position correctly. It's not a flex. So don't see it as like, oh, I'm going to just look how many freaking kills I've got. Like, it doesn't matter. Okay. You're using turrets. You're going to get the most kills, because also that's your job. So try not to get too like focused on like the clout of having multipliers, because you will get some crazy multipliers when you have 3 sentries up and running.
Calling down a sentry. Never mind. Bug hole. East. 200 meters.
Send machine gun sentry. So here, guys,
Machine
what we're
gun
doing
sentry on its way.
what we're doing here now, guys, is we're going to try and create a secure position. So we're here and we've just stopped, okay, for a moment, because we cannot advance forward because there's too much enemies coming towards us. So what we need to do now is we need to clear the enemy as Overwatch. So it's about putting down as many turrets as you can and enticing your fellow squad mates to drop any turrets that they have. Freya saying Gatling Sentry.
Gatling sentry ready.
So there was a perfect example, right? So that turret was firing and I wasn't getting any multipliers immediately because it was ricocheting off this rock. So what I should have done really is put my turret on this rock. However, it did end up working out because a bug hole did open up right there. So let's just continue on. So another thing that I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to flank the whole,
Send autocannon sentry.
which
Autocannon sentry purchased. Please give Amazon 2-3 days for delivery.
so again, I'm on an elevated position, firing on the larger enemies.
For prosperity. How about a nice cup of liberty?
So you can see there that, like, because we're using only sentries, we had a two-prong attack there. So we went from firing. So what we had here, so what we did is we had a two-prong front, and I'm not going to reverse it again, okay, guys? You know what I was just shooting at there. So what I was able to do there is stand up on a slightly elevated position, assault enemies from this direction with a turret, and then I was clearing the flank of that bug hole for my squad to be able to then push up and basically come into here. You can actually see one of my squad mates here already trying to get into this position to activate the terminal. And so your job then is to be able to try and create basically fatal funnels for the enemy. So as the enemy's coming down here, pushing it through this area here, your turret is killing them all. And at the same time, you as the Helldiver can turn to a 90-degree angle of your line of attack and start attacking this way. And this is what makes the Overwatch build, should we call it, just so much fun, because you get to stop and start working angles rather than just running headlong into the enemy and just hoping that the power of your weapon will be able to thin out the enemy. This is so much more strategical and so much more fun. All right, let's clear this up and let's keep playing. And again, you can see that while we're killing, we're on an angle here, we're still getting multipliers.
Mag's empty.
Objective critical stratagem available.
And again, wherever I go, and you don't
where's those
see it so
supplies?
much, you don't see me doing it so much in this footage, but I'm always scanning with my spear for just opportunities to fire on a larger enemy that maybe is not quite into the fight.
Objective critical stratagem no longer available.
Somebody take that out.
East.
Thing no longer anymore.
Bug hole east, 100 meters.
Shall we clear the...
Hi guys, I said this would take 15 minutes, but we are going to push on for the long run, okay?
LZ so long?
Holding a pin.
Yep.
Southeast, 100
Yep,
meters.
and we definitely need to take that out. That needs to go.
Southwest.
Okay guys, so that was a lucky shot. I don't know if you noticed that, but that's something that the spear cannot do. Okay, the thing that the spear cannot do is lock onto this. But what I did is I locked onto one of the flying bugs and hit it when it landed on the mushroom. Now this is what I believe that happened.
Southwest.
Okay, so that's what happened there. Normally that does not happen.
Mag's empty. Mag's empty. Fire in the hole. Mag's empty.
below you, good?
Yeah.
Right, send machine gun sentry.
Machine gun sentry
Again, guys,
on its
up on the high
way.
ground. Immediately up on the high ground. That was a pretty good throw.
Prayer reload.
I'm not normally
Reloading.
that accurate.
Busting orbital.
Prayer send auto cannon sentry.
Alright guys, so this is probably in the next over the next 5 minutes. Watch the multiplier. Okay. Watch how like we are expected to be completely overwhelmed here. Completely overwhelmed. However, because we have a line of defense set up by me, we're able to actually push back the enemy, but watch how quickly this multiplier goes on.
Autocannon sentry purchased. Please give Amazon 2-3 days for delivery.
Calling down the line.
Prayer send gaffing.
So here's another thing to look at, guys. So what I've done is we all know that bugs will attack turrets, sentries. So what I've done is I've laid down 2 turrets over with my squad, and now I've run onto the flank, and all these bugs here are heading in this direction. Okay, so at the moment, none of them are heading towards me. So they're all moving sort of perpendicular to me. And what I'm doing is I'm setting up basically flanking fire, which means that the bugs have to turn and actually advance towards me, which will then create flanking fire from my original weapons over here and my team as well. So again, we're creating angles.
Sentry.
Gatling sentry ready.
Sentry. How'd you like to taste of freedom?
So again, guys, 15, 16. Okay, so I'm dead, but look at my multiplier.
Reinforcing.
Reinforcing.
There you go, so 39, 40.
Ready to liberate.
See, and I've just popped up, trying to find my spear. There's 2 bar titans coming, and it hit like 59. So we do end up killing them. So here's another great example, guys, is that I'm immediately reloading my spear, and then I'm going to, if I'm correct, I'm going to head straight up onto this high ground, because Overwatch, again, is being able to dominate this area here with either myself or a turret, so that we can start clearing the area around here. So let's just get rid of that and see what happens. So because I went to the high ground, so if I had stopped here, with my spear, right? This could have been a problem. So like I say in my spear video, that you need to have line of sight. So, and this would have affected the lock-on, this thing here, whatever it is. It's some spear. So over the hours that I've been playing, I've realized that I have to find that line of sight, and always, not only will I be able to see this way, but we can't see obviously, but if we could probably see down here as well. And if there's anything here that needs to be destroyed with a spear, I'm going to have line of sight. So just clear that, and let's keep going. See what happens. So there you go. You can see immediately I turned to look to see if there was anything.
Through, yeah. Twice. Ah. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Mission at 20 minutes remaining.
Heavy. Okay, so again, you can see that I immediately moved to the high ground. So we're actually probably need to go somewhere around here, I'm guessing. So either here or maybe here. But the first thing I did is I ran to the highest point so that if my mates start going this way and this way, I can move along here if we're going this way. So if they end up going that way, and if they're running this way, because I'm wearing light armor, I can stop here. I can drop down a turret for rear guard, and then I can run down here. And if there is enough time of us traveling, I will most likely not only catch up with them, but overtake them. And so that's another great reason to always wear light armor. Again, if you don't use the spear and you use like a disposable launcher, you can always get yourself a shield backpack. Go clear, and let's keep going. So again, immediately run for the high ground, and straight away, I spot this guy. Heavy. So you can see he's a great example. So you can see that. Can you see how the spear won't lock? So I didn't know at the time that I was making my spear video, but if you kneel or if you go prone, there is a accuracy buff, okay? And it works for the spear as well. So watch.
Heavy! Southwest. Close.
So there, I knelt. Now let's see what happens now. No way. So not only did we not get the flaring, like I call it target bounce, I think. I just call it bounce. So if your it's lock bounce, that's what I call it. Lock bounce. So if you're lock bouncing, kneel. And if you kneel and you still get lock bounce, lie down. And we're going to see more of that in a minute. And I may have already done it and you see me do it. And the most important thing that you can see as well is that I fired immediately. So there was no...
20 minutes.
You watch it again. Heavy. I fire immediately. Watch. Cannot lock. I take a knee.
Heavy! Southwest. Close.
And then I fire immediately. See? No pausing, no waiting. I fire immediately. And the first thing I do, if I am clear, is I reload. Goddamn dogs, man. I hate the guard dog rover.
Freya, send Gatling Sentry.
Gatling sentry ready.
Somebody save me! Bug tunnel breach!
Oh, behind us.
That's kind of annoying as well. Hopefully they'll fix that. Okay, so I threw down a turret at the perfect time.
Whoa.
Again, you can see, because I am Overwatch, I'm wearing light armor, and I am the person who needs to destroy the larger enemies. I've withdrawn from the battle. I'm not using my main weapon and plowing through enemy. I've fallen back onto the high ground and ready to assist my friends, my teammates.
Freya, send machine gun sentry.
Calling down a sentry!
Machine gun sentry.
So again, I need to protect my turret. So now I start engaging the enemy that's too close to my turret.
On its way.
Here comes a Bar Titan.
Okay, so if you notice as well, is while I was shooting, I spotted a Bar Titan. I didn't see it in this particular video, but I've spotted a Bar Titan. And the first thing I do is I fall back because I must give myself distance, line of sight, and elevation to be able to fire on the enemy.
One hit.
Calling in reinforcements.
Okay, so the Bar Titan closed the ground between me and him, and I knew at that distance I would not get a lock, and he'd probably kill me. So what I've done is I've turned at a 90-degree angle, and I've run away. Which is hard to say, because I was in the military, and saying, like, run away and retreat is not vocabulary that you use in the military.
Requesting sentry.
Freya, send autocannon sentry.
Autocannon sentry purchased.
No, wait, buddy, wait.
Requesting advanced weaponry.
Enemy elite. Northeast. 100 meters.
So this part here is a really good example of why you always need to be getting the boys to resupply you. either by dropping resupply or making sure that you at least get one off the resupply and it's close to you. Because the first thing you notice is I'm doing most of the killing, like of the larger enemies. And unless you have somebody who is kicking around with a some other type of launcher, and even just like even a quasar, like some of the boys just do not have time to be able to wind up their quasars to be able to put down a shot. And so a lot of the times is that it's you're the one who's doing most of the initial damage, if not killing. And so you'll see this here where it's up to me to be able to put the initial damage on this bar titan, and then it's up to the boys then to finish it, because I'm out of ammo.
Another
So interestingly as well, you would have seen that like that bar titan was actually slightly obscured, and however I was still able to lock onto it. So I'll just show you that again.
Enemy elite, northeast, 100 meters.
Okay, so look, you can see that some of this bar titan is obscured. So really, the spears shouldn't lock on. Well, what we know is that, you know, we all think the spear is broken. Even I sometimes have this feeling that it's broken. However, I don't think it is. But the spear is broken, so it shouldn't lock on here, but then it does.
Another bar titan.
However, when I try and do it again, I'm unable to lock on.
Calling down a support weapon! I need a team reload!
So again, sometimes the thing with the spear is sometimes, and it can also happen with other weapons as well. If you can't get that good shot, you will not kill it in 2 shots. You will most definitely have to put a third one on it. It's very rarely that it happens to me, but this was one of those times where I let myself down and I didn't fire with the bar titan facing me completely. So it was on a slight angle, so it struck him in the body rather than in the head. And now, of course, I don't have any rounds, so it's up to the boys.
Someone hit that thing.
On its way.
And the boys too.
Spray
Yeah.
send machine gun sentry.
Calling down a sentry!
Machine gun. Sentry on its way.
Spray send gatling sentry.
So guys, when
Gatling
things get
sentry
really
ready.
bad,
Requesting sentry!
again, when you are in a big fight like this, it's starting to calm down at this point, but when it's getting this busy, always go to your fundamentals of being an Overwatch, which is elevation, place down turrets, and start killing the big things.
Calling in reinforcements.
So out of the 40 minutes that we were in game, that was the only time that I was not able to get a shot off. So that's one out of all those shots that you've seen so far. That's one shot. I couldn't lock onto this, so I switch fired and basically shot at this. You can also see at this point that I am prone because everything's moving so fast that you need the accuracy multiplier to be maxed out.
Have a taste of democracy! Requesting orbital!
Careful, wala tanka
Yep,
reset.
So what you saw just then was the perfect setup. Let's see if I can.
Requesting orbital!
You can see again our turrets were doing very well. Yep. So if we get in here, okay, this is the perfect setup for a spear. It would be great if we actually had some resupply right next to it as well. So if we just thrown down some resupply, but we have a completely open space. We don't have elevation. We could continue to run up the hill, which you can't see at the moment, but behind us is a hill. We could run up that hill for elevation, but we should be able to get a lock here. And we have 2 fat, juicy targets. So let's just see what happens.
I need a team reload! Going supply beacon!
Spray send autocannon sentry.
Autocannon sentry purchased.
Calling down a sentry!
So you can see there that our turret, so we damaged that bar titan. So we damaged this bar titan with our shot, and then our autocannon ended up killing it because the armor was stripped off the side of it. Again, it shows how having your sentries like up and in the fight can sometimes save you, because this thing was coming at me. It was going to kill me, and this one is probably not far away.
Request approved. Deploying reinforcements.
Bag's empty.
Okay, we're starting to get some results now.
New mag. You will never destroy our way of life.
So again, you can see how I knelt down, or I went prone to be able to shoot that. Alright guys, so that's all of our footage, and hopefully you've learned something, because I know that after probably, I've got to say, it's got to be 150 hours, maybe more, of just playing this role, of playing with a Dominator, a Spear light armor, and just helping the guys at the back, from the back basically, and from elevation. So guys, what if you can get down in the comments and let me know if I'm onto something, and whether you have your own little sort of role that you play within your squad. And I know that it can be difficult to play a role within a public squad, but if you're playing with your mates and you have a specific style, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Because, and especially if you have like a build, or if you can even suggest like maybe a better primary weapon for me to use, because right now I am rocking the Dominator, and as you can see, there are times where like I'm not hitting my shots, especially when something is moving across my screen. I'm struggling because I tend not to lead, which I should know about leading because I am in the military. So I was in the military, I should say. I'm retired now. So, you know, I should know about leading. I should know about, shooting at targets like on the move and stuff like that. But I still keep making these mistakes. All right, guys. So hit that like, and I'll see you in the next video.